your name?
Zaisha Davis.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I see myself being a successful exhibit, art director, and just working at a museum.
What's your name?
Michaela.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
On a yacht, owning a penthouse, making big bucks, big money.
Okay. What is your name?
Destiny.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I see myself working as a film critic and living in Maine.
What's your name?
My name is Kamana Boyer.
And where do you think you're going to be in 10 years?
Hopefully living in like a Brooklyn law, you know, with a good amount of money and with my biomedical engineering degree, or, be a city boy.
What's your name?
Hannah Schlicht.
And where do you think you'll be in 10 years?
I hope I'm engaged, and I hope that I'm traveling and have a good job and doing journalism on the side.
What's your name?
Alexis Trampay.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, I see myself being a physical therapist, living in a house in a nice little town with, and owning a pub.
What's your name?
Dawn Laurel.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I'm gonna say I see myself like being a child psychiatrist and maybe a PA and like helping children improve their lives along with maybe having some pet goldfish.
What's your name?
My name is Victoria Gill.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, hopefully, I see myself traveling a lot and exploring and hopefully editing videos for big companies or like trailers and possibly living in the city or something and spending a lot of time with family and friends.
What's your name?
Jalen Chambers.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I see myself as incredibly rich, you know, living in a nice big old house, you know. I have already graduated from my college. Preferably my spouse is rich, and preferably that's how I got to my richness. But if not, then, you know, I guess I have to do it myself and be independent. Also, my glow up is going to be tremendous.
Wow.
Thank you.
What's your name?
My name's Alan.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Hopefully I have, you know, a high-paying job. I want to be happy and healthy. I've learned that, you know, family is everything. If that's what I have, then that's all I need. You know, just obviously a lot of success. I want my name out there. I want to be proud of who I am and everything that I've done in the last 10 years in this case. And hopefully I can look back and smile about it all. So, yeah.
Okay, what's your name?
My name is Himanshi Gupta.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I see myself in 10 years getting my doctorate degree in cardiology and hopefully having a really stable job in a hospital and have a Porsche of mine and maybe with a good husband and a good life with someone maybe from California, but we don't know that yet.
Wow,
but
beautiful.
Cali is the life I want to live, you know? You know? Okay, bye.
What's your name?
Olivia McDermott.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Living in California by the beach with a job that I like and a dog and a cat.
What's your name?
My name is Kayla Velasquez.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, I see myself practicing dental hygiene, living on the beach, no kids, 2 dogs, and driving my dream car.
What's your name?
Sophia Joanitis.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, I want to be a successful lawyer, probably corporate law, and I want to be living in California.
What's your name?
I'm Samantha.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, I hope I am a doctor of some sort and working in a hospital and helping people. And I hope I have a family.
What's your name?
My name is Dominique Khalil.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
So I hope to be married, hopefully, with 1 kid. I also want to be a PA, so hopefully I have that degree. And, you know, I hope I'm surrounded by people that love me, friends and family. Yeah.
What is your name?
Rosina.
And what do you see yourself doing in 10 years?
I don't know. I'll probably still be in school. Yeah.
What's your name?
Elena Stavlakis.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, I'll be 27, so I hope I have like a stable career and I have a good group of friends and hopefully a husband and 2 dogs. And I want to be able to like go to Europe before, because I never went to Europe. So I hope I go to Europe by the time I'm 27.
What's your name?
My name is Ismael Dehala Santos.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, I'll be out of med school, I'll be a psychiatrist, and I'm going to have a rich husband, and I'm going to have a nice house, and if not, an apartment, and in a nice city. And if it's not a nice city, then it needs to be a nice little town. And I want a cat.
What's your name?
I'm United Sykes.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, hopefully I'll be ending my tour with a company of 6 years, like a modern ballet company. Settling down, living in the city, engaged, and getting ready to open my own dance studio.
What's your name?
My name is Pedro Velandia.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, I'll hopefully be wealthy enough to maintain my mom so she doesn't have to work anymore.
What's your name?
My name is Janet.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, I see myself hopefully working in an architecture firm with my degree in architecture.
What's your name?
Shailene Hedges.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, hopefully I'm in medical school, and hopefully I'm still with Darlo and we're married or something, I don't know.
Name?
My name is Matthew.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
10 years, I would say I see myself either finished with college or probably working somewhere relating to either business or chemical engineering. And I would say roughly starting a family at that time.
What's your name?
Stella.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, hopefully, I'm graduated from law school. I have a job. I visited Morocco, hopefully, and just to live my life and spend time as much as I can with my parents and my friends.
What's your name?
Lillian.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, I hope to be graduated from law school, and hopefully I'm working, and hopefully in a city, and I hope that I'm living with my best girlfriends in a penthouse in New York City.
What's your name?
Rob Luna.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Hell, or crack house.
Right. What's your name?
Emily.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I see myself working in the legal field, recently graduated from law school, and probably being married and having 2 kids.
What's your name?
My name is Thomas.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, I see myself working for marketing for either music or fashion or like film and living in New York City.
What's your name?
Riley Flynn.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, I see myself with a marketing job, and I'll have gotten my master's in business analytics, and I hope to be married.
What's your name?
Ray Chansey.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
You know, hopefully like just finishing up med school so I could go on and either be a doctor or a psychiatric nurse practitioner.
What's your name?
Cameron Arthur.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, hopefully, I married a rich man. I'm in a penthouse in Manhattan, and I have my doctorate. Yeah, that's where I see myself in 10 years.
What's your name?
Ariel Rogers.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, I see myself doing residency and becoming a doctor with a family.
What's your name?
Darlo Laurent.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
It's probably like running for the Jamaican national team or Asian national team.
What's your name?
Armani Smith.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Hopefully somewhere warm and torching a beer league Sunday softball tournament.
What is your name?
My name is Tiana Bowie.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, I hope I'm practicing law, you know, and my dad. Hopefully I have a mansion, 3 actually. I have a really rich husband that pays for everything.
What's your name?
Giselle Fares.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I see myself graduating from hopefully a university by that time, maybe having like 2 degrees, hopefully a job in mechanical engineering, and maybe starting, like, I don't know, renting an apartment hopefully.
What's your name?
My name is David Simoka.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I see myself probably coaching track and field on like a collegiate level.
What's your name?
Giselle Rivera Zelaya.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In
In 10 years, I see myself graduating from vet school and having my own clinic in Bayshore, just like helping people with their pets out.
What's your name?
Fabiola Charizard. Gianna Lutz.
And where do you guys see yourself in 10 years?
I see myself becoming a pediatric surgeon.
10 years, I see myself as a physical therapist assistant.
What's your name?
My name's Lily Gorgas.
And what do you see yourself doing in 10 years?
In 10 years, I see myself being a special education teacher.
What's your name?
Ashley.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, I see myself being an international lawyer.
My name is Olivia Nellis.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, I'm probably going to be a manager at an architecture firm, probably working to get my own firm, famous YouTuber, and probably engaged to a rich man.
Yes.
What's your name?
My name is Jerini Terry.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, I see myself practicing as a pediatric dermatologist and making people more confident.
What's your name?
My name is Madeline LaJulia.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
In 10 years, I hope to be back at Major High School as an English teacher.
What's your name?
Yarlin Vasquez.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Probably owning a house, and I have a dog and a duck.
What's your name?
Devin Dubernor.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I see myself working for the Washington Capitals and living in Washington, D.C. And hopefully that can lead to something even better.
Your name?
Naomi Obasa.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I see myself as a Yale grad, a Harvard Law grad. You know, I see myself as like just a rich and fancy woman who flies first class handling her business, you know. Just that girl, basically, and that's it.
Wait, aren't you going to be president?
Oh, and President of the United States, hello?
Yes!